السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشتد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. رب أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاها وأصلح لي في ذريتي إني تبت إليك وإني من المسلمين. آمين. رب لا تذرني فردا وأنت خير الوارثين. آمين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين. آمين. والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. Everyone, welcome. Inshallah, we are going to listen to our friend Anne to present what we have done last week and bring us to the subject we are going to study today. Inshallah.
Inshallah. So last week we started by talking about what this phrase, tongue of disposition, means. The tongue of disposition is English, but it's not found, except I think in Nursey's work. So we tried to find a way to understand it better. So, for example, a farmer producing crops cannot produce those crops by himself or his own will. What he does is follows the order of the universe. To say otherwise is going in the wrong direction. So in order to produce the crops, the farmer in reality is following the order, which is how I understand the tongue of disposition. And another way to look at it is the silent speech of our existential reality. Essentially, we have to follow the order. We can't assign ourselves that power or that knowledge. So how did we attain such a high degree of civilization? It's not like we sometimes like to think, through our own intelligence, our own strength, our own willpower. But in fact, it's through impotence, according to the text. Impotence, the three I's: impotence, indigence, and ignorance. This is how we attain our advances in civilization, not through strength and power of man alone, but it's through the compassion and mercy and wisdom of our sustainer. So that kind of is a disposition on, or an explanation of this phrase, tongue of disposition. On the other hand, regarding technology and things that make our life easier, the believer cannot misuse this knowledge. So that's the non-believers, I think, as we discussed, that they're not aware that there's this sustainer that enables them to, I'm talking about non-believers. They're not aware or don't acknowledge the fact that their attainments are through a higher level. But believers do, but on the other hand, can't misuse this knowledge. So we need to show we're needy. We need to show that we're powerless. We need to show that we are impoverished, and we need to recognize that God is enough for us, for He is the best disposer of affairs. From the Quran, Surah 3, ayat 173. By the same token, don't say, I'm nothing, because we are created with the potential to be, and as Nursey points out here, a number of things. To use his words, an observant spectator, a discerning reader of the universe, a supervisor of wonderful creatures, and a foreman for all beings, full of respect for them. And as Nursey's constantly reminding us, he uses a lot of different ways to describe the reality of the human being, which I always love. So he says, he chides human beings, saying that you are a deaf particle, you're a contemptible atom, a needy creature, a weak animal, who, tossed on the awesome waves of the flood of beings, is departing. So we need to be aware that, in fact, we're always in some kind of form of departure. So we need to thank God, our Creator, every single moment, in fact. And we need to thank God for employing us to do the right things, to do the good things, to feed the homeless cat or the homeless people, or water the plants, or respond to the baby's cry. We need to thank God for employing us to make all these creatures happy. We need to give what Nursey calls universal thanks, even as seen in the Fatiha. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, and the rest of the Fatiha is, in fact, a form of universal thanks. And that's where we ended last week.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Excellent summary. So it brings us to study Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Inshallah, we will do. Inshallah, today. Let me see. Yeah. Inshallah, we will have time to study, then go into this Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So we are ready now. From one aspect, we are spectators, spokesman, reader, and supervisor, and foreman of full of respect for their worship. So we are in the universe, we have a really majestic position within the universe as human beings. Yeah. And then how about our bodily side? Inshallah, we will make the distinction. Not our body is the spectator or spokesman or the reader of the book of the universe, but something in us. So what is the value of our body as compared to our spirit, our human side? Inshallah, we are going to read this part now. I'm ready to.
Yeah, I jumped ahead maybe a little bit, but yeah, this is actually where we left off. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so here's where Narcy is scolding us or chiding us. Yes, O human beings, in regard to your vegetable physical being and animal soul, you are a death particle, a contemptible atom, a needy creature, a weak animal who, tossed on the awesome waves of the flood of beings, is departing.
Hmm.
But being perfected through the light of belief, which comprises the radiance of divine love, and through the training of Islam, which is enlightened by belief, in regard to your humanity, you are a king who worships God. And a universal within particularity, and within your insignificance, a world, and within your contemptibility, a supervisor of such high rank. Thus, with all these qualities, you can declare, my compassionate sustainer has made the world a house for me. The sun and moon lamps for it, and the spring a bunch of flowers for me, in summer the table of bounties, and the animals. He has made them, he has made all of them my servants, and he has made plants into the decorated furnishings of my house.
Now, what we understand from here, comparison. Would you like to, any one of you, make comment on it, what we have read?
Well, I just like the way he um, makes it clear how needy and insignificant and weak and um, contemptible atom and a death particle. We're all of that, except with only through our belief in divine love, um, our belief in the training of Islam, we become a king who worships God. And then all the other amazing potentialities of a human being, if we do, if we accept that there's a universal creator and I'm a part of that universal creator. So it goes from one extreme to the other in terms of human qualities. I love the way he contrasts them.
To make the comparison easy to understand,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is very clear, but it looks like a bit exaggeration. Do you feel that?
Um, yes, but it's an exaggeration that's necessary in order to um make sure we understand our reality.
Hmm.
Uh, without that, um, I mean, you could call it hyperbole in a way, but without it, I don't think the point is made as powerfully. We have to be reminded of of as a as an animal. I mean, as a physical body. These are all these are all our aspects. Only through um, the soul that recognizes the source of its creator, then all that is negated. It has to be made, that contrast has to be made extreme in order to make it clear to us, to make it to and for Nursey to make his point. I think it's beautiful.
And also, it really reflects the reality, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because what attracted my attention, the vegetable physical being and animal soul. Uh, but vegetable physical being is the way that we are just materially or our body wise, we are growing like a vegetable physical being. So if we reduce our existence to only our body, this is a big problem because nowadays how human beings are seen in terms of scientific language, in terms of scientific language, or those unbeliever scientists describe everything in their material form. That is why they cannot really receive the light of belief. Why? Because they see the human existence, their existence, as a vegetable physical being, an animal soul, not human soul. So they cannot really see the spiritual side of the creation, which we call in our discussions uh, um, angelic side of the creation, because they don't see the angelic side of their own existence. Not because they cannot see outside that the things are so meaningfully existing out there, because they don't want to see it. Not because I believe they are not aware of it, but because of their prejudice, their biased ideas or understanding, they don't see themselves other than body. So it reflects this understanding on understanding the other creatures other than their material being. So they cannot really uh, attain faith, belief in God, belief in the Creator. Because if you see the universe as nothing but matter, mass of matter, of course you cannot really see the meaning, the angelic side of it. It means meaningful side of it, reflecting the qualities of their maker. You just see as it is. You don't see as if our standard classical example, looking at a book and seeing it as a paper, as a piece of paper, or compilation of papers, compiled paper. Of course, they don't look for the author of the book. Why? Well, they don't see that side. They don't read the book because they biasly define the book as just a compilation of some paper sheets. So that is why nowadays the people are not really exposed to the idea that this universe and themselves, although practically living in their practical life, they acknowledge the beautiful ugliness, usefulness, durability, whatever. They acknowledge all these qualities, but when it comes to analyzing existence, they block this way of understanding. it is happening by themselves. Why? Because there is no agent. They decided there is no agent. It happens. So, of course, what they have to do now, because extra, I mean, wonderful, wonderful things are coming out in creation. Wonderful things are happening in the world. How would they explain it? They have to find out some excuses. I mean, in, invent, I would say, because they are inventing false ideas, false interpretations, doesn't have any reality in existence. Accident that they have to do it in this way because they reduce themselves to a vegetable physical being. Unfortunately, this is the culture, and the world is understood through this civilization, this secular civilization, only from the material relationship between me and my body. Now, for example, financial matters are extremely important. Why? Because it is something to do with my physical comfort, bodily comfort. But how about my spiritual comfort? Nothing. Nothing. Secular institution brings nothing. Secures my body, secures my physical life, property, for example. But how about my spiritual needs that they cannot do? They cannot really provide anything. Unfortunately, this is the reality that we are living in now. How are we going to uh, get out of this world? Only defining myself first, ourselves first, who we are. Am I just a physical vegetable, physical being, or like animal? Now, animals have some sort of feelings, but if I realize that my feelings have have no limitation at all, and endless feelings. Every animal has certain amount of, limited amount of animate qualities, animal qualities. Every animal is limited. You know, the dogs have some sort of feelings as a dog. Cats have another, but human beings are, and the human beings have endless feelings at an endless uh, level. This is the only way to accept that I am not a vegetable physical being, neither am I an animal soul, but I am a human being. Then when I see my human side, it is very easy to understand that I cannot be the product of my material the side or product of the matter at all. So I need to be made, created by a one who put me within the context of the whole universe. That's what we are going to read now. This is called belief, light of belief. Why did he say light of belief? I remember discussing this subject, so just touch upon it, just with one sentence. Darkness doesn't show the reality at all. I cannot see anything in darkness. I cannot, it's an example. I cannot make the distinction between the different things. But as soon as light, one light, is on, everything becomes clear. That is why when I say I am created, I need a creator, and this creator can only be the one who created the universe, because I am created within the context of the universe. Directly interrelated to each other, interconnected with each other, even intertwined within each other. So I can be the product of my feelings, my body, everything, product of the one who created the universe. This understanding becomes a lamp. Now, turn it on, switch on, and everything becomes clear for me now. That the first thing the author mentions here, the divine love. What does it mean? Divine love. Not love of the transient things, but loving an absolute being who is the creator of the universe. An absolute being who is the creator of the universe. That's why it is divine love. I love the one who created me with endless feelings, with endless capacity, and I love the one who created the universe for me. So this is only possible through belief in the iman, in the creator of the universe. Of course, the creator of the universe cannot be describable with his work, a piece of his work. So it must be an absolute being. So this says, in regard to your humanity, you are a king who worships God. Now, there are two Quran in the Quranic description. It's interesting. There are two types of being for a human being to be a king. One is Firaun represented in the Quran. The other one is a human being created by the creator of the universe and really acknowledging that he is appointed in the universe as a creature, as a being who can communicate with the rest of the universe and come to the conclusion and attach single being as a blessing gift, blessed gift from the creator of the universe to myself. So just I wanted to say how a man, if he doesn't accept, how a person, if he doesn't accept that he is created to utilize the universe as a king employed by the creator, the only alternative this person has, I am the king of myself. Not the king who worships God, but who worships himself. There are no two options. Excuse me, more than two options. Either we worship the creator of the universe or we worship ourselves. There is no third alternative. So Quran says, look, the one who didn't believe in me, accepted me, had to declare that he is God. But we are not reading this verse now. Now, Let's read the verse and talk about it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وقال فرعون يا أيها الملأ ما علمت لكم من إله غيري. Pharaoh said, nobles, his consultants, if you like, his cabinet. Now, his cabinet. You have no other God than I know of except me. That's what how Quran describes. If a person doesn't acknowledge the creator of the universe, actually it was wrong. If a person doesn't acknowledge that he is created as a human being, he has an infinite capacity in his spirit, he cannot accept the creator of the universe. That's why uh, I was puzzling how a person studies an animate body and says that it developed by itself. I am thinking about it seriously, how a human being can claim this. It is impossible because either everything must work at once with its all parts perfectly, or it cannot function. If it is all parts working perfectly, then how can I say that this thing happened by itself? It is made perfectly by itself. Sorry, it is made perfectly by their maker, whoever made it. Otherwise, everything cannot function at the same time perfectly. So I don't know how a person can say it developed by itself. If it developed by itself, if it was developed by itself, everything must work perfectly. So if it is not working perfectly, so it needs to be developed, then it cannot work. If it cannot work, if it cannot work, it cannot develop. What are they talking about? It cannot improve itself because it is not developed, working perfectly. So it is impossible to really believe in this way. But the reason is not because they cannot understand the perfection of the creation at every moment, in every part of its parts, each part of it. How cannot accept, they cannot accept it? I understood, and now I understand. If I am wrong, please correct me. If I deny my reality as a human being and say that I developed myself and I'm just made of matter, and matter developed, improved, evolved itself into a perfect human functioning body, if I dare to say this, if I dare say this, then I can easily say that everything else is existing by themselves. The reason why I say this, that I am just made up of matter and matter developed some sort of feelings, which is impossible to explain, how feelings, human feelings, intelligence, consciousness, all the feelings, human feelings, can be produced by matter. Impossible. It means just obstinate people, they don't want to admit that they are created and they have to be thankful to their creator, they have to acknowledge their creator. That's the problem. I don't want to acknowledge that I am a created being. That is what the Quran describes in the I mean Pharaoh example. Pharaoh is not a Pharaoh somewhere there. Anyone who says I exist by myself, my matter happened to be like this, I am not created, it means, although they may not say, I am, as the Quran says, ما علمت لكم من إله غيري. I know of no God at all, or I know no God at all except my. That is why there is no in between. There is no in between. Either I am created or I am God, the creator, by myself. And no one says, I created myself. No, I have divine qualities within my matter itself. So we have to understand that the verse describes an absolute unbeliever person with the example of someone who's described in the Quran as Pharaoh. So another verse, again, what the Pharaoh said, فَقَالَ أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. And Pharaoh said, I am your Lord, the Most High. I don't know another God about me. That is the if you like, analysis of this idea of disbelief, denying the Creator, but pointing out that the reason for not believing in God, not because they are not satisfied and there is no enough evidence for it in creation, in their being. No, no. Just because they don't want to admit that they are deliberately, perfectly created by a conscious being. That is why we have to say, I am a king in the universe who worships God. My God said, okay, you can benefit from my creation with your infinite human capacity. And also continues, as we read, human beings are created a universal being within particularity. Body-wise, we have no significance whatsoever, body-wise. But human spirit-wise, and as a human being, we are, each of us can communicate and utilize the whole universe for himself only. I mean, not your being in this universe has nothing to do for me as far as sharing of the universe is concerned. No, you have the whole universe for you. I have the same whole universe for me. None of us really reduces benefiting from the universe unless we reduce ourselves to material being. And then we start talking about resources are limited, but human needs are infinite. We have to conflict. We have to struggle with each other. So try to get the biggest share. But with Iman, you are not getting the biggest share. You alone are getting every part of the uh, cake, if you like, of the universe. Not a piece of the cake. No, no, no. Don't try to get the piece of the cake. Use your human capacity and utilize the whole universe. You are given this capacity. And another description, and within your insignificance as a bodily being, so you are a word, whole being. Why? Because you can communicate with the whole universe. And bodily wise, within your contemptibility, so simple. Today here, tomorrow in the grave, rotting. Contemptible body. But you have a spirit within yourself who can function as the supervisor of such high rank. It means I am the supervisor of the universe. It means I can communicate with the universe, understand the message from them, and go back to my God, say, we are coming to this part now. We worship you. You are our Lord. When we say you are addressing God, our Lord, the Lord of the universe, I am conscious of it. I am presenting to you. This is the worship of God. So if we worship God alone, we are uh, as the word says here, supervisor of the universe. Some translators say vicegerent of the universe. It means vicegerent is not really, doesn't really convey the message, vicegerent acting on behalf of God. No, God gave me the capacity to utilize the whole universe and supervise it. It means I can really understand what the universe is telling me and giving me the news and returning back to the creator saying that, yes, you introduce yourself to me in this way. I understood it. I approved it. And I am presenting my conclusion to you now, especially during our prayer, daily, 5 daily prayers. So we are going to this direction, inshallah. Any more comment from anyone? I spoke again as usual, quite long. So if not, we can read from we can start, inshallah, this fifth remark.
Did I do the one above about Satan to conclude? I didn't do the to conclude.
Yeah.
I stopped at to conclude, so I need to read that.
Okay.
Yeah. To conclude, if you heed Satan and your soul, you will fall to the lowest of the low. But if you heed truth in the Quran, you will rise to the highest of the high and become the most excellent pattern of the universe.
Yeah. Any
Should I
comment?
go on to the fifth part?
Would you like to make a comment on it?
I have a question about if you heed Satan in your soul, um, why not just if you heed Satan, why is your soul included in that? Oh, ego. Ah, that makes sense. Okay. That's much better. Thank you. Otherwise, it seems contradictory.
Not soul in English means spirit as well. Unfortunately.
I know.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Tendencies. Yep.
Yeah, no. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. All right, that spelling was wrong. So, when Quran represents Satan and continuously keeps telling us that to seek refuge from Satan, seek refuge from Satan. What does it mean? Any idea comes to my mind, according to the Quranic expression, comes from satanic sources. This satanic source may be human beings, maybe jinns. It means, I mean, a source, a source. There is no need to describe what it is because it is not a physical being. But human ideas as it is today, introducing the universe without referring it to its creator. So this comparison here, vegetable physical being is a satanic understanding according to the teachings of the Quran. As we saw it, according to the teachings of the Quran, Pharaoh is, if you like, incarnated Satan in the form of human being. In the description of the Quran, we have to understand this. Now, not a person that we are talking, but this idea represented to us in the Quran as a pharaohic, I think the word, pharaohic understanding. Everything is its own God. It means everything owns its own self. They don't need a creator. They don't need anything else. By themselves, they exist. How ridiculous the idea it is, but some people pick it up, uh, follow it, because they have this pharaohic, egotistic understanding within themselves. Now, and here, Quran, speaking from Quranic language perspective, he says, if you hate Satan and make it a little bit more explanation, and your egotistic tendencies, and means, let me do it, this, right? I.e., your egotistic tendencies. That's what sex means. So if you do that, you become laws of the law. It means petty being who's going to die, disappear. That is the understanding. But if you accept your reality, it means here if you heed truth. And the Quran introduces your reality to you. You are such a being, human being, created to comprehend the reality of the universe, so that also conclude this reality of the universe points to the reality of the existence of its absolute creator. So that is why truth is equated what Quran presents to us, and absolute misguidance or wrong understanding is represented as satanic understanding and pharaohic attitude. That is how we should read the Quran. So if you heed truth as the Quran presents to us, and we can confirm it through your own reality and through the reality of the universe, then you will become a microcosm of the universe, the most excellent pattern of the universe. We will come to this most excellent pattern when we start reading the fifth remark. So if there is no comment, we can start the fifth remark. We have some.
Yes. Okay. Fifth remark. Each human being has been sent to this world as an official and guest, and has been given abilities of great significance. And he has been entrusted with important duties in accordance with these abilities. In order to employ man in fulfilling those aims and duties, powerful encouragement and severe threats have been made. We shall here summarize the fundamentals of worship and of man's duties, which we have explained at length elsewhere, so that the mystery of the most excellent of patterns may be understood.
Now, that is what the fourth remark, the previous remark we just finished today, ended up with human being through belief, acknowledging the truth, not denying it, becomes most excellent pattern of the universe. It means summary of the universe, microcosm of the universe. How? So he comes here as it is described in the Quran. What is this most excellent pattern means? Now, the Quran encourages us not to deny our realities and accept our realities by demonstrating the consequences of these two extreme cases. Extreme cases means we are in the middle. We cannot be most perfect believers all the time, consciously practicing our belief. Neither can we be always lost. Now, sometime, from time to time, we just go back and forth, if you like. That is why extreme cases points to direction. Which direction are you going? If you go this direction, you will end up there. If you go to the opposite direction, you will end up there. So that is why the Quran uses here, let me, this one underlined, in order to employ men in fulfilling those aims, I mean, becoming a best, most excellent of pattern of the universe, a conscious microcosm, employment in fulfilling those aims and duties, powerful encouragement. Let's stop here. Powerful encouragements have been made or has been made, this encouragement. That is why the description of paradise in the Quran is so powerful, so attractive. Human beings just fitting to the capacity of the human infinite desire of satisfaction. That is why powerful encouragement is used. If you acknowledge your reality and just declare it openly and turn your reality back to your creator, saying that we worship you, means everything is provided by you. I appreciate it. I'm pleased with it. That's it. And act accordingly. Everything is from his blessings. Be thankful and express it, your thankfulness, through many ways. So maybe by reflection, we can express, by verbal expressions, we can express, by physically practicing something demonstrating our happiness, our reality, what our reality is, and presenting to God, bowing down before him, prostrating before him, nothing else. If we are really, really careful, seeing a human being, asking somebody to help him. We can understand this. Going to the market and buying something, physical relationship, we can understand this. But it is so significant, so amazing. Seeing a person bowing down, prostrating, putting his head on the ground, but physically not communicating with anyone. It is so amazing. So it means I can identify or define myself is better. Define myself as a being in this universe. As far as my own existence is concerned, I am nothing because I cannot sustain it, protect it. I cannot take care of it. Everything is being taken care of it. And I cannot satisfy my feelings in this universe at all. I am a helpless person. I need this, there is nothing. I need this, it will go away from me. All this, imagine this. This person says, as far as my own existence is concerned, I cannot claim no ownership over it. Here is, I am expressing it by putting my head on the ground. But expressing your reality, putting your head in the ground, before whom? In the universe, nobody. So meaningful, so exciting, so fitting to human spirit. I am not going to worship. I am not going to accept that something of this part of the universe, some part of this universe is taking care of me. No, I can't do that. So when I see a person prostrating, I get amazing feeling. What is he doing? It means I don't disdain to see or to understand that anything of this universe really is worth to be considered. That is why I am declaring myself, I am nothing but before nothing of this universe. Of course, everybody knows only the creator of the universe. That is excellent. So God says, if you do this, if you have this understanding, your consciousness, your feelings, and your practical life, be conscious of it and consciously practice it, then you will be given by me, because you worship me as the absolute being. I will treat you with my absolute capacity in the universe in order to satisfy your infinite needs. That is called in the Quranic description paradise. That is why paradise is so beautifully described, addressing to human beings, promising that every kind of human desires will be fulfilled at the utmost level. That's why people don't understand why Quran describes women, men, beauty, of course, mutual, beautiful women. It means perfectly satisfying human desires for a company who is perfectly fitting. So for men, for women, Quran includes both. Although Quranic language is a masculine language because Arabic is a masculine language, but it must include the feminine side of it as well. That is inevitable. So we should understand that all description of beautiful women, etc., not a joke. Just that is human desire. Who doesn't want to have a satisfactory life with the accompanying counterpart, countergender? So be in company with somebody you are perfectly satisfied with is most important than everything else in this world. So the descriptions are made in this world. And of course, to keep the balance, what needs to be done? The severe threats needs to be made. Severe threats. If you don't follow this direction, now you will lose everything you need. That is another counterpart. Powerful encouragement, severe threats. We have to understand the Quranic language. Why the Quran describes the hell in a so dreadful way? Why does it do it in this way? Because to keep the balance. If I take this direction, I will get the most precious gift. If I don't, the alternative is most dreadful being or existence as a consequence of my life. So severe threat and powerful encouragement are the extreme directions showing us which way would you like to take. Inshallah, from here, we will continue next week. The most excellent patterns may be understood if we take the positive side. I mean, according to our reality. Inshallah, we will study from there so that how the Quran describes it, etc. Would you like to have some more comment, please?
No, this seems like a really logical place to stop.
Inshallah.
Yeah, because he'll be explaining the most excellent of
Pattern.
patterns. So this is a great place to
Yeah.
stop. Yep.
Inshallah, from here we will stop. Anyone else? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا إن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة السر سورة الفاتحة اللهم